What's up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Friday? I'm doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you had a great week. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So what's up? What's up? What's up? I know it's been a minute, you know, I've just had a lot of crazy going on in my life. Kind of a full 180, you know, relationship gone, job gone, right at that 5-year mark. So I feel like I'm destined for change, you know. Clearly it's a sign and I'm gonna take it as that, you know. Maybe I was too content in my life. Maybe I was just happy being bored all the time and just sitting around doing nothing and just content with what was going on. And I think that it's a sign that I need to be pushing forward, striving for more, and that's what I'm gonna do. So today though, I'm gonna talk to you about just before I got booked, the desperation, the sickness that I was going through from addiction / the criminal lifestyle. Like, we all know that the criminal population is the most traumatized group of our population, right? Nobody really typically comes out of the womb a bad person or wanting to do bad things. It's either by things that we've experienced in our lives, whether that's abuse or violence or whatever, or family experiences, you know, maybe being in foster care, whatever the reason is, we were traumatized, which led us to this life. Because for me, man, like, honestly, I have a good family. My parents are still married, came up in a good home, like raised with love, and it didn't matter. I still experienced bad things. Bad things happened to my family, despite the fact that we always tried to be good. And it led me down a bad road. And I'm telling you, it all came full circle 2015. Because when I was young, when I first started doing crime, 17, 16, 15, breaking into cars, doing break-and-enters, I did it carefree. I didn't really care about evidence, leaving evidence. I just was living like a maniac because I figured I was young. And I didn't care. And what were they really going to do? And at that time, I felt like I wasn't going to get all that much time because they were giving me like a couple weeks here, a couple months there. And I wasn't really foreseeing the major jump in time because I was a dumb young kid. But how I mean it came full circle was in 2015, I was pretty much living exactly the same way. It was the first time I ever tried needles intravenously. I didn't do them for a long time. It was only like a 90-day experience in my life. But in that 90 days, my whole life fell apart. I watched multiple overdoses, multiple people around me lose their lives, and just some of the worst experience in my life. Yet, for some reason, I wanted to chase it, because I was caught up. And I did some crazy things. So I'm going to tell you a story. One day I was like, yo, I gotta go make money, so I'm gonna go figure out how I'm gonna go make money. So I started walking around neighborhoods, because this is what I used to do, right? I used to break into houses and shit. And so I'd walk around neighborhoods, knock on the doors, see if people were home. If they weren't home, go in the house, right? This day specifically, I was living crazy, you know what I'm saying? I had a crowbar in my waistband all the time, a 3-pound sledgehammer. I was walking around with a little booklet of preloaded fits of number 3 and number 4, just smashing like a maniac, out of my mind. Mohawk shaved into my head. I had just lost it, to be honest. And I remember walking around knocking on doors, and I knocked on this one door, and when I opened it, all I could smell is pure piff. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is a grow-up situation or something like that. This is where I'm gonna be. But when I rang the doorbell, there's these two massive big dogs, right? And for me, I'm not the kind of dude that's gonna break into somebody's house and hurt their dog or fight them or bring physical violence. Just not me. You know, I was literally doing it to make money, to support my habit in the end. And the last thing I really wanted was confrontation. But this day, I was so fried. I was so out of my mind. And it could have really went really bad. And I could have ended up in jail easily on a life bid, or could have ended up dead myself. Very easily could have ended up dead myself. So I remember I'm knocking. I want to see if anybody's home, right? So I opened the garage, and I remember looking in the garage and just seeing pure tools, beer weed hanging on the wall, drying. So I kept ringing the doorbell to make sure nobody was home. These dogs going crazy, rah, 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 rah. And they're big, so obviously I'm not going into the house, right? But in my mind, that I had assumed that because I had ring the doorbell so many times, there's no way somebody's in this house. So I remember going down into the garage. I find a little thing of weed. There's weed hanging on the thing. I snatch that. I take that, and I start grabbing tools. And when I go to walk out the garage, I walk out the garage into the solarium, because the house had a solarium. And as I walk out the solarium, I don't hear the door close behind me, and I hear feet come out the door behind me. So in my mind, I already know somebody's following me. I gotta be aware. So I pop around like this. I have my hand on the crowbar, and it's a dude probably my age standing in front of me, and he can very, very clearly see that I'm out of my mind. I've lost my damn mind, right? So he's hesitant, but at the same time, he's like, yo, what the fuck you doing in my house, right? I'm like, bro, sorry, mistake, man. I thought that this was my homie's house. He had sent me to get this tool, and I just thought, you know, stupid excuse that a drug addict's gonna make in that moment that's not really gonna make any sense. But this is what I was thinking, because I was fried, right? I'm just trying to get out of there without having to smack heads with a crowbar, because that's the last thing I really want to do. But in my mind, I'm already justifying, if this happens, I'm not running, because I hadn't ran. I stopped, you know. In the past, I would have just ran. I would have just cut the tool and just run and just taken the loss and kept it moving. But this day, for some reason, I stopped and I faced it, right? Out of my mind. Standing with a mohawk. Picture me, 170 pounds, mohawk in my head, track marks all up and down my arm with a crowbar and a sledgehammer. You're not really going to want to confront me. And I could tell. He's like, yo, what do you have of my, give me my tools back. So I gave him his tools back. And he goes, yo, that's all you got? And I'm like, yo, I have beer weed up in here. And I said, yeah, that's all I got, bro. And he goes, all right, and walked off. And I cut the other way. This close to turning into a violent situation that very easily could have turned my life around, man. You know, it's in the past, in multiple times I've gone into homes and there's people in the house and I run away. You know, I don't confront anybody, right? I don't fight or I'm not violent, especially when I was young, because when I was young, I didn't care. Like, I just go around looking for open doors, right? And sometimes when you walk into somebody's home, they're gonna be in there. It just happen. Even if you ring the doorbell, not everybody's gonna answer the door. Not everybody's really looking for solicitation or whatever. So if you're ringing their doorbell, they're gonna be more annoyed than anything. And it can really get bad if you go into somebody's home or business or whatever and they're in there. It may not even be you. You may not even be looking to be violent. But that person may feel an intense need to defend whatever property he's on. Maybe there's kids there, maybe his brother, his mom, whoever, and he feels the need that now he's got to put you down. And in Canada, that's not legal. So I'm also putting that person at risk of losing their freedom. This is, when you start losing it, these situations become more and more and more dangerous, and they become more and more and more prevalent because you're stupid. You're making rookie moves and rookie mistakes. I would tell anybody, if you're doing drugs, don't break the law. I would say don't break the law anyways. But there's no way you're going to be getting away with crime while running around doing dope. Because you're not going to be doing things properly. You're going to be making loose mistakes, and you're just going to end up in jail or prison or dead. And to be honest, I'm lucky I'm here. I'm lucky I am here still to this day walking. Like, how many times could people have very easily killed me, confronted me, driven into me with their cars, chasing me? How many times could the cops have shot me? You know, you just never know. And it's a risk every single time you go out, no matter what you are doing to break the law. Even if you're not supporting a habit, there's still risks. Even if you're clear-headed, sober, got the most amazing plan, you can't control what's going on around you. You can't control how other people are going to act in moments of terror, because believe me, if somebody's a civilian, whether it's a robbery, a break and enter, a bank robbery, a assault, whatever it is, people who are civilians are terrified. They're not ready for that. They're not expecting that. And it affects them deeply, you know? And I just think that crime as a whole is just, it's weak, man. It's weak. It's a weak way to make a living, despite the fact you can make a really good living if you're good at it. But there's really nothing that you can do breaking the law wise that has zero victims. You know, if you're selling dope, people are going to lose their lives from using your dope. If you're doing robberies, people could get shot, people could get stabbed. You also could go through that. If you're doing home break and enters or anything, animals could get killed, people could get killed. You also could get killed. And let me tell you something. Anytime you're doing a crime and a civilian intervenes and you become violent with that civilian, you have just changed your time tenfold. You have turned it into something much, much more serious. And honestly, I've been super lucky, and I'm going to take my blessings and I'm going to run with them. And I'm going to start living better. I'm going to start making smarter decisions. I honestly felt really bad for that dude that I had that confrontation with this crowbar. It doesn't seem like much, right? But to a civilian, it's a big deal, man. I'm telling you. Life-changing shit affects them forever, could scare somebody forever, big man or not. And I just don't think it's fair. And honestly, like, I wouldn't say that I regret decisions that I've made in my life, because I felt in the time that I had to do what I had to do, but I definitely don't feel good about it or proud about the things that I've done. And I definitely hope that for the rest of my life, I can live like a civilian on the straight and narrow, work for my money, earn an honest living, and just chill. You know, honestly, living the most basic, simple life out in the street is better than bawling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, even a year, and then spending a year, 2, 5, 10 years in prison as a consequence. Losing everything that you worked for to proceeds of crime or whatever it is, and just having to start over every single time. And I don't care how good you are with money. The problem is, when you're in that life, you go to the clink, you now got to worry about all the shady people that you do business with. Are they going to move in on your woman? Are they going to move in on your money? Are they going to move in on your clothes? Like, even when I was young, when I used to buy all new clothes, fly shit, that's what I did, right? I would take money, especially when I was a teenager, because I did a lot of the stuff that I was doing to be able to provide myself with the nice clothes, the nice shoes and stuff like that I wasn't able to get from my family because my parents were raising 5 kids. But all of that stuff, every single time I get booked, all my so-called homies would take my shit. I'd never see it again. I wouldn't know who took it. I wouldn't know where it went. I'd never see anybody wearing it. And everybody just assumes, because you're making it illegally, that you don't have any like you don't deserve any respect, or your shit doesn't deserve any respect. And you literally start over all the time, you know. People can become shady real fast, man, when it comes to illegal money, especially. People feel obligated. You're doing crime with someone, you know, you're breaking the law with someone, heads start clashing. Before long, boom. You know, I always chose to do my shit without a co-accused, but that's also stupid and dangerous, you know. So at the end of the day, the reality is, don't do crime. Don't break the law. Don't do drugs. But it's not always that simple. Like I said, people who go to prison and that do drugs is the most traumatized part of our society and really need help. Don't need to be stigmatized and shamed. They need help. But as long as that help isn't there for real, this is what's going to keep happening. People are going to keep breaking the law. People are going to keep using. And hopefully my words can inspire people to stay away from that life. Stay away from the bullshit. If any of your friends are breaking the law, stay away from them, man. It doesn't earn you stripes or make you cool because you're going to jail or you're going to prison. It doesn't make you cool to try heroin or try coke or try ecstasy when you're in high school. It doesn't. All it does is put you at risk of failure and struggle and pain. Don't even take the risk. Avoid it at all costs, all of it. Just walk away from it, man. If somebody's trying to push dope on you or push you into doing crime, that person is not your friend. They're not. And if you're trying to be clean and stay away from the life and people are bringing it to you, those people are not your friends. Step away from them. That's when my life changed for the better, man. As soon as I started stepping away from the people in that life, because whether it's you're using or you're doing crime, you associate with people out of convenience. And how can this person help you? And how can you help this person? Because it's not real friendships built on solidarity and loyalty. It's not. So any minute somebody will step on you. So just walk away from it all. I'm telling you. Be your own man. Be your own person. Go to school. Go to university or college or trade school or whatever you have to do and figure it out. Do it the hard way. Do it the slow way. You'll get way more out of it when you work hard for your money and you buy things and you grow and your life gets better and better. It's satisfying, man. But when you're stealing money or you're robbing people and that money's just coming and going, it doesn't feel the same. Buying those things doesn't give you the same satisfaction. So you keep doing it and keep doing it. Avoid it at all costs. Obviously, I share my stories with you guys so you don't have to go through these things yourselves. If I could snap my finger, nobody goes to prison, nobody goes to jail, nobody's addicted, I would do that. But that's not a reality, especially in 2024. It's hard out here. Ribs is touching. We're all starving. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and sometimes that can land you in prison. Or the hard times in life can land you in addiction. Watch these videos. Hopefully they'll tell you and help you to turn away from it, man. Go the other way. Be the best you could be. And just figure it out. Figure it out. You know, life isn't always fun and games. You know, sometimes you are going to go through some shit. Sometimes life is going to suck a lot. Like my life right now, like I'm telling you, I'm going through it, bro. But I'm still happier now than I ever was in prison. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button, that'd be amazing. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be even better. If you want to donate to the channel, you can. There's a PayPal link in a lot of my older videos. Maybe I'll put it in this video. I love y'all. The new Matt Clark.